If you're having issues with your toilet tank filling all the way with water, most likely it's because you have an issue with your fill valve and it needs to be replaced. Well, in this video, I will walk you through the steps to replace that fill valve. Let's do it. Before you do anything, turn the water off to the toilet, empty the water out of your tank. If you don't do those, you're gonna have a wet mess. Now with the water out of the tank, we can remove the tank and get to work. First, we need to disconnect the water from the tank, and you might need a pair of pliers. Just put a towel underneath it because this baby's gonna drip a little bit. Next, we need to remove the tank bolts, and we do that by putting either a socket or a pair of pliers or a wrench underneath the tank bolt. Then we grab a long flathead screwdriver and put it down inside of the tank to loosen that bolt while we hold it tight on the bottom. Okay, so the water's off, the tank is empty, the bolts are disconnected. Now we just need to pull the tank off of the toilet. Now with the tank on the floor, just remove the plastic nut and then pull that fill valve out. Make sure you get the right fill valve to fit your toilet. These Fluid Masters are pretty universal and fit most toilets and are very easy to install. In your package, you will have your fill valve itself. It should have a rubber hose, that's pretty important, we'll get there in a minute. And then you will have a clip which you will use to hold the rubber hose, that's for your fill for your bowl, and then a plastic nut to secure it to the bottom of the tank. Grab your tank and flip it around. Now if you have any extra water in here, just let it drain out of the bottom onto your towel on the floor. Inside your tank, you now have an empty hole where your fill valve goes. And if you're not replacing your flapper, that remains in place. You'll want to take the fill valve and put the threaded end down inside of that hole. Once you get it in here, you need to make sure that you keep the rubber hose side facing this direction so that you can clip it on to the top of your fill. This will ensure that water goes inside of here, which fills your bowl in the toilet. Holding your fill valve in place with your left hand or your right hand, use your plastic nut in order to thread and screw and secure it on. Now this is a plastic nut, so you want it to be tight, but not so tight that you crack the plastic. Just tighten it until it's nice and secure. With the fill valve in place, we now need to clamp our hose to the top of your fill. So take your plastic clamp, put the end of it inside of the hose, and then clamp it to the top of your fill tube. This ensures the fill valve not only fills your tank, but also fills the bowl. Whenever you replace a part within your toilet tank, it's important to replace all of the seals for that tank. That includes your tank to bowl gasket, as well as the seals around the bolts. So just replace the bolts themselves with brand new rubber seals. This will just help to make sure that you don't have any leaks on your bathroom floor. To get the tank back on the bowl, line those bolts up with the holes that are on the back of the bowl and just slide it into place and let it sit there. When you tighten your bolts, make sure that you get it nice and snug to the top of the porcelain bottom for the bowl. Do not over tighten this, because if you do so, you will crack the porcelain and then you have to get a new toilet. Be sure to reconnect the water before you turn it on. If you have a plastic bottom to your fill valve, be careful with this, only hand tighten that on until it's nice and snug. Try not to use a pair of pliers. If you feel like you do, just do not over tighten this, because you will crack the plastic and you will have a leak on your bathroom floor. Turn the water on and make sure that the fill valve is filling your tank appropriately. Now give the toilet a flush and make sure that your tank refills properly. With all of this complete, you also want to make sure that those brand new seals that you just put in place are not leaking water anywhere. Just double check around the toilet and underneath to confirm that you have a dry situation. But have you checked to see if the water level in your bowl is at the appropriate level? If you're not quite sure how to take care of that problem, click or tap on this video. And until the next time, keep doing it yourself.